hear you're ready for your dose of reality.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dr. Quack podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Quack.
And I'm the important one, Mr. Mayhem. And I see, I can't get you to dress right, but at least you're wearing an appropriate shirt as we talk about the road to WrestleMania from the Dr. Quack podcast, WrestleMania 6.
That's right, folks. Talking about the Big Daddy here. We saw the ionosphere and the stratosphere all come together.
I was in fear because this pay-per-view had a lot to live up to. WrestleMania 5 was awesome. And let's see if WrestleMania 6 lived up to the hype of WrestleMania 5. So let's get it started here.
Yeah, we came from the Toronto Sky Dome in Toronto, Canada.
And just a quick note for those of you who did not know this, which is about 3 or 4 people out there in the wrestling community, the tag team Edge and Christian, when they were young kids, they were at this show, out in the audience.
Yeah, this was their big show to watch. You had Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse the Body Ventura on commentary.
They're great. There's nothing more we can say about them except they're awesome.
Yeah, they rock. So we got our interview people. We have Mean Gene Okerlund, Rona Barron, Sean Mooney.
Yeah. All right, so Rona Barrett, she was an investigative journalist for the National Enquirer, so she doesn't bring a whole lot to the table. And the less we can say about her, the better. Let's just move on to the matches.
Oh, yeah. First match up here, Coco Beware taking on the model, Rick Martel.
Ah, yes, the first pay-per-view where he's no longer the handsome babyface Rick Martel, he's now the model. And that came about as of WrestleMania 5, so, he looked decent out there. The current bane of our existence against Coco Beware. So, this match really felt flat. Like the crowd was still working their way in. I mean, the Sky Dome is a huge facility, 65,000 people plus. And until there was a really nice hope spot, a hot hope spot at the end, which, by the way, kayfabe word of the day, hope spot. A hope spot is where the babyface is being beaten up and he gets a quick shine or a quick couple of moves in to get the crowd up before the heel takes over to continue the match. Kayfabe word of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it was just god-awful. And by the way, this would mark Coco Beware's 0-4 record in WrestleMania.
Yes, and we've almost finished our investigation. So be watching for the cold case to come up. We're looking into the career of Coco Beware. Does he really belong in the Hall of Fame? We're going to make that determination.
Yeah. I mean, I want to make sure I bring this up too. Robert Goulet singing the Canadian National Anthem.
Yes, and he did a great job. For those of you who are not familiar with Robert Goulet, he is a singer, he is an actor. A lot of people will remember him in the movie Beetlejuice. He did several other great movies. Robert Goulet, a great singer, did a really great job in O Canada, and the crowd singing along with him. It was great to see.
Yes, it was. I was very excited for that. By the way, I gave 2 stars to that opening match.
I gave it 2 1/4, but again, you're right. It's really there. It was flat, but the action was decent. It's just a lot of people either missed or didn't care about this match.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it just was flat. Thank God for the next matchup because it was for the Tag Team Championship. It was Demolition against the Colossal Connection, Andre the Giant and Huck.
Yes, this match, Demolition had just lost the titles after their historic run that had set the record up until the New Day. They lost it to Haku and Andre the Giant as the Colossal Connection, managed by Bobby Heenan. And Andre was getting on in years, so he never actually tagged into this match. He was involved. He would hit some people, or he was there, and Haku would smash his head, or Axe's head into his head for a mighty headbutt. But Andre really didn't do a whole lot in this match. But the match was great to see. Demolition getting their 3rd tag team title reign, winning this match. The action at the end with Andre the Giant paintbrushing Heenan and then pushing everybody out of the cart and riding it back to the backstage area by himself. I enjoyed this match tremendously. I gave it 3 1/4.
And this was a big thing for the Heenan family because at this point, they were starting to crumble. All of their people were either mad at him or wanting to leave. It was this whole year right here from 6 to 7 where you saw the Heenan family get destroyed.
Yeah, but like I said, I really enjoyed this match. This was not a popcorn match or a bathroom break match. This was an important match in wrestling history, and it was worth watching.
Yeah, I gave it 3.5 stars on this match.
And I was 3 1/4, so we're right there together.
Yeah, this was definitely, a memorable match in this pay-per-view. Going down the line, the mighty Hercules against Earthquake.
Well, Earthquake. Poor John Tenta. A very talented guy. Kind of always got saddled with bad gimmicks. For those of you that were not familiar with him, he was originally introduced as the Canadian Earthquake. He was a guy sitting out in the crowd when the Ultimate Warrior Dino Bravo had their feud, and he was supposed to sit on people's backs as they did push-ups. So that was how he got introduced to the world of professional wrestling. Hercules, we pick on him at length. I'm not going to belabor that any longer. If you want to see how much we destroy Hercules Hernandez, check it out. All these videos right up here that he's going to tag in. Our editor better make sure he gets that done right. Because he did well the first video. Let's see if he can keep going here.
Yeah.
But anyway, we destroyed Hercules, so we're not going to do that much more. The crowd was still very, very hot. The only thing, the wind felt rushed. Like it was, Hercules got thrown into a turnbuckle and then the earthquake splash. So it felt really rushed, but it was still nice to see. It was overall, there was nothing technically wrong with this match. I did go 2 1/4.
Yeah, I went 2.5. Earthquake at this point remained undefeated. It's very nice to walk into WrestleMania with an undefeated streak like The Undertaker does.
Very true, very true.
And moving down the line, they had the interview with Miss Elizabeth here because she had been gone for quite some time since the end of WrestleMania 5.
Yes, she had, because there was some talk that at this time, this was unknown information, that the actual real-life marriage between Savage and Elizabeth had started to crumble at this point. Plus, Elizabeth's mother had some health issues. So she did take some time off here, and this was a nice way to bring her back in, letting people know she still existed. She was out there, even though Rona Barrett was the one that did the interview, and Rona Barrett is not an interviewer. So, it was nice to see Elizabeth.
Yeah, it was great to see her. Talking about she was returning to the ring, which was a great thing to see.
Very true.
The first lady of WWF there. And speaking of which, here we go. Mr. Perfect with the Genius taking on Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Yeah, I want to bring something up here before this match, just like the other 3 matches, started with a sneak attack. This is 4 straight matches where the match started before the bell rang. Now, at this time, the WWF, if something happened before, the referee just immediately rings the bell. He didn't stop the action and wait for everybody to get ready. At this time, it was when action started, it started. So this was the 4th one in a row, and it started to really feel like they all were sitting around taking notes and everybody was reading from the same sheet. And luckily, this seems to be, there was only one more after this where it happened. But Mr. Perfect and Brutus Beefcake, well, the Genius Beefcake feud was, the less we talk about it, the better. Mr. Perfect and Beefcake, this was a great match. This was another one. Perfect came in with a perfect record. And this was a nice fluke win to give Beefcake the win to show that, well, Mr. Perfect's loss was not his fault. He was still fallible, and it set up a good another 2 months of this feud. I did go 3 stars on this match.
Yeah, I went 2.5. I love the part after the match, though. He got the Genius and started cutting his hair. Yeah, the barber's going to work at his other job. I love it.
Yeah, he started a trend that happened in the early to mid-'90s. Everybody had a second job, and I wish Beefcake would have stayed as the barber. Go away, don't wrestle anymore, just cut hair.
Yeah, and now we're moving on to another match here. Hot Rod Rowdy Piper against Bad News Brown.
I'm gonna do it! Oh, I hated this match!
Holy Testicle Tuesday!
Even at this time, this match was not very well accepted. We had the Hot Rod and the Hot Scott.
Yeah.
Now, all reports indicate that everybody in the back and Bad News Brown was fine with this. It made no sense in their feud. It made no sense at WrestleMania. Bad News Brown deserved better. Roddy Piper deserved better. All in all, this match just was wrong. Let me say that again. Wrong!
Well, you can tell how he felt about it. I mean, it's funny, if you look at the lead up to it, they actually showed this. Because Piper was pulled out of the Rumble by Bad News Brown. That started their feud. Bad News Brown went on Wrestling Challenge and told Piper if he's going to wear a skirt, he needs to shave his legs. And then it came to this. This is how they set that up. It was a double DQ. I personally looked at it like it's just another brawl. It wasn't that good for the show.
It really brought everything else that had happened down. The crowd was flat. They didn't care about this feud. Piper was starting to look like he was getting up in years. He wasn't crisp. Bad News Brown looked like he was a little bit frustrated that this is what he was doing. I gave it 1 1/4 because at least Bad News Brown's punches looked good and it was short.
Yeah, I mean, I went 2 stars on this. I didn't feel like it was that great. I felt like it should have been better, but, because you had Piper and you had Bad News Brown, 2 guys that were having a feud there, it had some significance, just not enough.
And Jesse, God bless him, he was trying to keep your attention off of it if you were watching from home, talking about the god-awful movie Tag Team that Jesse Ventura and Roddy Piper were involved with.
Don't remind me.
But at least he was trying to keep your focus off the match, so he was trying.
Yes. Yeah, it was pretty good.
This match basically falls into the car crash of, I can't avert away my eyes even though I should. Please, move us along.
Yeah, move on here. So then we had Steve Allen with the Bolsheviks practicing for their national anthem.
That was a very, very funny segment. Steve Allen is a man who loves himself tremendously.
He does.
His write-up, he reads like he invented the Great Wall of China. He built the first lute that was played. Basically everything that ever happened in life, Steve Allen had a part of. But he was also a very, very talented man. He was a good comedian, a good songwriter, a good actor, and a so-so decent singer. He's not going to make any great records, but he's not going to run off a crowd. And the bit that he did with the Bolshevik practicing, that was a very funny segment. It kind of got people's mind off of the Bad News Brown, Roddy Piper match. So it was a welcome addition. I did go 2.5 stars on that segment.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I went with. It was just funny watching Nikolai getting upset because that led into their match, directly after this, the Hart Foundation against the Bolsheviks.
This was, they were building the Hart Foundation up as the next contenders to the, #1 contenders to the tag titles that Demolition had just won. And this was the last match that had the sneak attack, so I really felt like at catering, they served poutine and Molson, and it finally started wearing off. Everybody was calmed down. Nobody was trying to rush to do anything. But, I mean, this match was really short, and with the backstory of trying to build up the Hart Foundation, it needed to be short. And this match was all of about 1.5 minutes. Boris Zukov took the heart attack. I did go 2.5 stars just because the build to the Hart Foundation really, really was cemented in this match.
Yeah, I went the other way. I went 1.5 here. I was not very happy. I actually was looking forward to seeing this match and how short it was. I mean, I understand the build-up, but man, come on. You know, give me a good match out of this, because I needed one before that match before.
Fair point. Fair point.
So we move on here. Tito Santana taking on the Barbarian.
Barbarian?
This was Bobby Heenan's guy.
Yes, this was Bobby Heenan's guy. And Tito Santana also doesn't have a very stellar record at WrestleMania. At least he does have a win. So he's 1 up on, or actually 2 up by the time it's all said and done on Coco Beware. But this match really was underwhelming. Barbarian is, while not a great worker, he's an intense talent, and he looked very, very off in this match. Tito Santana looked like he was struggling to carry this match, so I don't know if it was lack of chemistry or they both just had a bad night. This match was kind of flat. The lariat at the end, though, was awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
And that's what helped with my grade here. That took that to me for 2.5 stars. Otherwise, I think I would have gave it about 2 stars. That really helped elevate it. That finish was nice.
I had 1 3/4, and then we're up to 2.5. Man, now the director bothers you instead of bothering me.
I know. See, I'm like, calm down, Mr. Director. We're moving along.
You know, the editor took it right. Shut up, director. We're not done yet. We'll tell you when we're done.
Yeah, because this is quite a long card here. We're moving along here. Dusty Rhodes and Sapphire with Miss Elizabeth in their corner, taking on the Macho King Randy Savage and Queen Sensational Sherry.
They did a nice build-up package before the match of the crown jewel, as they referred to, their special surprise. They didn't give any hints to who it was. Elizabeth came out on her own.
It's a surprise, baby!
And they really put over that this was the first mixed tag team match in WWF history, which it was. It's the first, to explain a mixed tag match is 1 man, 1 woman on a team, and the men face the men, the women face the women. And this match was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Sapphire had wrestled a little bit before, not much. That we couldn't find a single thing of this when we reviewed it in our WrestleMania or our Royal Rumble build-up for 90.
Right.
But she did wrestle before, a few matches. So she looked comfortable in the ring, even though she was advanced in years. This was 1990. She died in 1996 at 62 years old. So she's 55, 56, 57 years old at this time. And Sherry Martel bumping like a fool that she could always do. This match was just a lot of fun. I did give it 3 stars.
Yeah, this was definitely a high-quality match. I went 2 3/4. I felt like this was really great. I just want to let you know that this is regarded as the dead WrestleMania because there are 4 matches here that could not happen today because of wrestlers that are now deceased for one reason or another. And this whole match is actually deceased.
Well, yes, we could even go back to the Hercules and Earthquake match. They have both passed away.
Yeah, and the other ones we're going to move on to here.
Bad News and Piper have passed away.
That's right. We got one more that's coming up. We'll explain that.
All right.
Because intermission here, they decided after this to, get out intermission. They didn't put them on there anymore. Now they just had promo fest. Because you had Heenan cutting his promo, Demolition cutting their promo, Hogan cutting his promo, and the Warrior, I'm not sure what he was doing, but I think it was a promo.
The Warrior was cutting the cheese. The Ultimate Warrior has, for lack of a better terms, an Orwellian style of promo cutting. Everything is the worst thing ever to have happened, or the best thing to have ever have happened. But he explains it like a 5-year-old mumbling through marbles in their mouth.
Hulk Hogan!
Yeah, it was really like a Mad Libs cutting of a promo because everywhere there was a blank line, he wrote in Hulk Hogan, and that's how he memorized it.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I'm moving along on this because we had the Orient Express taking on the Rockers.
Yes, Pat Tanaka and Akio Sato are this version of the Orient Express managed by Mr. Fuji. And they were taking on the Rockers. This is still, the Rockers are still together. They haven't even started the seeds of them breaking apart. Where Shawn Michaels throws Marty Jannetty through a plate glass window. That's still like a year and a half away. So this match was really nothing special. It was the first match out of the intermission, so this was the other, what they call the bathroom match, where people are still coming back from the bathroom, still coming back from the concession stands. And they actually had the hard cams pan out, and you could see like a third of the crowd still walking around on the floor.
Yeah.
So this match was so-so. It wasn't great. 1 3/4.
Yeah, I went 2 stars on it. Of course, Orient Express wins by disqualification. I love the salt shot. The salt where it got thrown in Marty Jannetty's eyes, and he was walking around blind. And then he trips over the guardrail into the fans. I don't think that was accident. It looked on purpose.
That did look on purpose, but you're right. That was good. Akio Sato, who spent a long time in Japan doing the heel Japanese, he actually was the one that taught Fuji the salt trick. So a great use of that here.
Yeah, and of course, now you got more interviews in between a 15-card match here. Steve Allen going to interview Rhythm and Blues.
That did happen at this time. This was... Honky Tonk Man was getting ready to debut his new single, and the bad thing is nobody could say the name of the song right. That's how little WWF cared about this storyline that they were running. And a year and a half later, Greg Valentine is back in WCW. Honky Tonk Man is basically in WCW, although he really didn't do much. So the WWF really was punishing these guys and pushing them out the door. And it's really obvious when Sean Mooney calls it hunka love. I mean, it was, you could tell they didn't care about this storyline.
He did not. I mean, it was just great to watch, that whole commentary there with the Honky Tonk Man. But, yeah, Dino Bravo took on Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
The crowd was still flat on this one after coming out of the Orient Express match. They did enjoy the finish at the end with Duggan going over, but this was a really slow, plodding match. Neither of these guys were speed demons to begin with, but it really felt like they were both constipated. They were extremely slow in this match. I did give it 2 stars. I'm wondering why I gave it 2 stars. It really wasn't that good. But I'm going to give it 2 stars.
I gave it 2 stars for the simple fact of Duggan got him to go out there and go, ho! Yeah, he did that like every 2 or 3 moves.
He always did that, but you know what? At least he didn't try and get a USA chair.
And he did it in Canada. Good job. No,
he didn't try. He didn't try.
He did not try at all. Thank God. Moving on here, Jake the Snake Roberts versus Ted DiBiase for the $1 Million Championship.
This was the start of what's known in the world of professional wrestling around the WWF or WWE as the Bizarro match.
Yes.
This is a match that should have got crowd reaction, and I don't know if it was the other 2 matches hurt it or the crowd just didn't care about it, but they started doing a wave, and they had waves running around the Sky Dome instead of this match. The crowd, the commentators cared more about what the crowd was doing than the match. Because this match was for the $1 Million title. Jake Roberts had stolen it and was hiding it in Damien's bag. So Virgil and Ted DiBiase wouldn't go get the belt. But then, yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry, I was going with the crowd. Everybody was doing the wave.
But like I said, the match, nobody really seemed to care about this match. I thought it was a 2.5 to 2 3/4 star match. The match itself was good. Ted DiBiase won by count out, and Virgil took off with the title. That's really all there is to say about this match. Like I said, it was Bizarro that the crowd cared more about what they were doing, and this is the first time we've seen it happen.
Yeah, I gave this match 2 stars. I wish the fans would have gotten into it, but they just couldn't. I don't know why.
I would have rather them waved this way, as in, hey, good match.
It was very solid. It was a good match. Boss Man taking on Akeem with the Doctor of Style. Slick.
I'm worried that You haven't given a two-finger salute yet, and you didn't give it to this match. I am worried what you're going to give it to.
No, it's coming. It is coming.
So this is a proctological nightmare coming up then.
Like in comparison, yes.
Holy cow. The crowd started to wake up a little bit. The backstory is that the Twin Towers, Akeem and the Big Boss Man, had now broken up. Big Boss Man was a good guy because he was tired of Slick trying to control his career, and he didn't need anybody telling him what to do, let alone Slick. Okay, wait a minute. There was another sneak attack. I guess these guys were a little longer in Katie, but you know they are big guys.
Right, they move a little slower.
So, 1.5 stars. It wasn't really anything great. It was nice to see the one-man gang, Akeem. I prefer to call him I'm going to call him George. George Gray. It was nice to see George take the Boss Man slam. He took it fairly well. But all in all, this match was really just filler. It really was just giving two guys a payday. This meant because Raw and SmackDown didn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, I went 2 stars pretty much because of that Boss Man slam. I'm telling you, that looked really good with two big men doing it. But, outside that, like you said, it's just filler. But now I'm going to move on to my 2-finger salute.
Oh, I can't wait to see what you're giving it for.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you're a little more specific than the whole match. I want to know exactly what earned your 2-finger salute.
I'm going to tell you what earned my 2-finger salute. It was this segment that happened directly after this match.
You're giving it to the whole segment?
I am. I am giving this to the whole segment. Sean Mooney, yes, Sean Mooney, came out there and was interviewing the crowd, right? He was asking about rhythm and blues and everything. And then all of a sudden, he's got to go, oh, there's Mary Tyler Moore. Oh, let's go over and interview her. You can tell she was completely thrown off by this. Like, this was not set up very well. He's asking her, do you have how many albums do you have with the Honky Tonk Man? She's like, all of them, And Greg the Hammer looking like Elvis. Yeah, that whole segment was a complete botch. And that gets my 2-finger salute.
So you're giving it to the Mary Tyler Moore interview, or are you giving it to the song?
No, I'm giving it to the Mary Tyler Moore interview.
Yeah, because Mary Tyler Moore, the way the camera was set up was Sean Mooney was on her left-hand side, so they were filming Mary Tyler Moore from the side, and you could tell she was looking like there was a director standing just to the left of Sean Mooney, giving her cues of what to do, because her eyes kept bouncing back and forth between looking at Sean Mooney and looking for direction of, what am I supposed to do? This wasn't supposed to happen. I was just a fan here. It was awful. And Sean Mooney, again, you said he does an okay job. This is proof he is not an interviewer. He's not a backstage guy. He belonged out of WWE.
Yeah, for this one, yeah, he definitely got what he deserved for that. But my quack attack.
Okay, good.
This was my quack attack because I got to see one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, the Honky Tonk Man, and Boxcar over there, Greg the Hammer. Rhythm and Blues coming out and performing Honka 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 Honky Love.
Yeah, then like I said, the big joke throughout the whole show was whenever they announced this, they didn't know how to say the name. The actual name of the song is Hunka Hunka Honky Love. And I enjoyed this whole segment. For those of you that are not history buffs of the world of professional wrestling, when the pink Cadillac is coming down, the driver is Diamond Dallas Page. That is actually Diamond Dallas Page's car. He was willing to drive up to Toronto from New Jersey to have that car there for this segment.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it because you had the Hunkettes out there. That's
the Hunkettes. And I've tried to find out who the Hunkettes are, and it's very difficult because the background singers, the female background singers for Leonard Skinner, were also called Hunkettes. So every time I put in Hunkettes, I was coming up with their names. I wanted to know who the two women were that were the backup singers, and I can't find it. So I don't know who they are. They're obscurities in history. And one other thing, when they're coming out, they're playing Honky's old song, and Jimmy Hart is holding up a gold album. We've talked about this before. Jimmy Hart is an accomplished singer. He was part of a group called the Gentrys that actually did get a gold album, and that was Jimmy Hart's gold album. He held it up.
Yeah, if you know who those Hunkettes are, make sure you put that in the comments underneath this video here. Big thing though, the Bushwhackers. They came out.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That set up the nice little feud. Again, this segment was dead on arrival. Gorilla had not started calling him Boxcar yet. We're talking Greg Valentine, the black hair. But when Gorilla Monsoon, who was one of the consummate professionals, is being told to make fun of a segment, you know it's dead on arrival. And the timing of this was off. I don't know if that was on purpose or if somebody was playing with things. And then the Bushwhackers coming out. It was a lot going on, but it was also a lot of fun. I gave this segment 3 3/4 stars.
Yeah, I went 4 stars on this. I felt like this was definitely a memorable moment and probably one of the top moments as far as segments go for this pay-per-view.
Yeah, this one doesn't quite measure up to the level of the Piper's Pit segment from Mania 5, which we did give 4 stars. I don't think it was just below that, but this was so much fun. And it's too bad that these guys got treated so horribly.
Yeah, now I'm going to move on to the, I guess, semi-main event here.
Yeah.
Ravishing Rick Rude against Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Yep, this is the 4th match, by the way, if you were keeping track of every person in the match has passed away. So, while this match was only so-so, the crowd for some reason didn't seem to care. I don't know why. The match itself was very good, but everything about it just felt so-so. I mean, the crowd's lack of reaction meant that Rick Rude was not as into it as much as he wanted to, and then Superfly wasn't into it as much as he should have been. But the match was technically sound, and if the crowd would have been into it, this match would have been a 3-star affair. All in all, I did give it 2 stars.
Yeah, I gave it 2 stars on the simple fact that they piped in crowd noise.
That is true. They did. You could hear they were flat. You were watching the crowd, and you hear cheering for Superfly, and you're looking at the aisleway, and people are sticking their hand out to get hand slaps. They're not cheering. They're not applauding. So it was obvious piped in.
Yeah, and I think that's because everybody went to the popcorn stand, and they wanted to make sure they got all their food, because the main event here, Hogan against the Warrior.
Oh boy. Yes, title for title match. This had been building slightly before the Royal Rumble, but the Royal Rumble really is when it started, when we had the stare down between Hogan and the Warrior. But as I watched this match, this is really all I could think of. This match really felt like it belonged on Pornhub.
The gayness in this match is pretty high.
Well, the action was very intense, and it wasn't overtly a homosexual encounter. It really had a lot of undertones of camera angles. Like, I hope our guy can find it, but if not, when they're doing the Greco-Roman knuckle lock and the Warrior's on his knees shaking his head, and it's right in front of Hogan's crotch. I mean, it looked like this. Oh my God. But, taking that away, unlike WrestleMania 5, where there is talk that this match was well rehearsed and well practiced, this match was very organic. It didn't feel like this match was rehearsed. It felt like 2 guys who were not known for great matches both felt the need to step up. They needed to make this match mean something. I went 4.5 stars.
Yes, I did as well. I mean, during this match, Hogan had popped his knee out, and everybody was thinking, oh my God, don't let this end on an injury. And then he came back in, of course, and reconnected his patella. Yeah, thank you, Gorilla Monsoon, for your knowledge.
This was definitely Gorilla Monsoon showing off his doctorate degree from Gorilla Monsoon University.
Yes, I mean, and it was a great finish there. Warrior, was down. Hogan was going for the leg drop. He missed it, and the Warrior hit the splash. I mean, it was a great match, and Hogan, raised his hand, handed him the belt, made it look like, a true champion that went out.
Yep, to his credit, that's twice Hogan has stepped away and let someone else take accolades, something he's not known for. He did it twice. So good job also to Hulk Hogan, giving the Warrior his just due for this match.
Like Gorilla said, he took one more step towards immortality.
Very good. Very nice.
And that is WrestleMania 6. But get ready, folks, because this is next.
I know it is. I'm not going to look at it. Oh, we're going to go into a little bit of the history about this when we get to our review next week, because it started to be in one venue and they had to move it to another one because of real world events. We'll discuss that in our WrestleMania 7 review.
That's right. And make sure you check us out. I'm Dr. Quack.
And I'm the important one, Mr. Mayhem. Remember, we're in round 2 of the Champion That Never Was tournament. Also check that out. Check out our other videos and get ready to check out WrestleMania 7.
And that's an order. And I'm out.